Hello everyone, this is Martina. I'd like to talk about adaptogens today. Now, what are the adaptogens actually? These are plants and mushrooms that can stimulate and do stimulate certain physiological processes in the body for them to achieve the optimal function. The reason why they are called adaptogens is pretty much quite obvious that they do adapt to body needs depending where the body stands. Now that's incredible power which these plants and mushrooms do possess and are great for help of our health or in our health if needed. Now, what does that really mean that they do adapt to body needs? Now, let's say that certain function of the organ or certain process or certain gland is overworking constantly, right? Then they can help to diminish or dim the function or slow the function so it achieves its optimal way of working. On contrary, if certain gland or organ or process is slower than it's supposed to be, or it's not functioning as strong as it's supposed to, then they can strengthen this process or organ or gland for it to achieve its optimal way of working. Now, how does that look in reality? Or what kind of adaptogens are there in the world? Now, there are many. There are so many, and we can find them in the form of herbs or herbal plants all around the world, whether it's Europe, South America, or Asia, and most of them have been used in the indigenous cultures as a part of the natural healing and the herbal medicine. Now, from the contemporary point of view, let's look on the modern society. Let's talk about stress. I've been talking about this already in my previous videos, and let's keep the thread in the chronic stress area as well. And the reason is because it's really what is harming us on multiple levels, and B, because the modern society is struggling with this quite a lot. And so that's why I keep on referring to the stress to give a guiding examples, for example, or to give more information and a helping practical point of view that everybody can use if fitting. Now, let's say that we're experiencing chronic stress for a period of months or even years. And in that case, we are constantly having increased cortisol levels. Cortisol is being produced by adrenal glands. But adrenal glands have all different kinds of responsibilities and tasks and functions they have to perform in addition to cortisol production, right? And just to name a couple, it would be regulating blood pressure. It would be production of certain sex hormones. And so when we are having or when we're experiencing a period of chronic stress, it may very well be that our blood pressure is fluctuating or that we are experiencing increased and higher blood pressure than we would normally have, right? And so in case we are not able to manage stress through the means such as exercise or any other physical activity or meditation, or being in the nature or any other means that are available to help us to manage stress, then we can reach out to herbs and plants and plant medicine. Now, I'd like to use them sometimes and recommend them sometimes in case all other means are either failing or not functioning for whatsoever reason, right? Ultimately, that's why the plants and the herbs are there for, to help us in case we are not able to help ourselves, for lack of a better term, right? So in case of cortisol levels, in case of chronic stress, we can use as well herbs in terms of helping hand if we need it. And for this particular instance, it would be, for example, suma root. Suma root is adaptogen, and it's originating in Brazil. And in Portuguese, it's called para tudo, which literally means for everything. And it has been indeed used by indigenous cultures in South America to build up overall vitality, to strengthen body's glands, and to build up resilience of body against stress and against cortisol, really, and to be able to modulate the cortisol production. And as I have said, strengthening the gland, it would be adrenal gland in this case, right? So this is just one of the example. How can we reach out to the plant kingdom and to the natural help without reaching to any other industrially produced products, for example, right? In case we are not able to help ourselves and manage stress through other means, because it may happen, right? So, what we need to keep in mind, however, when we talk about the plants and the herbs, that in spite of the fact that they are natural, the amount is also the crucial importance, and they come in the package, if you will. Now, plants, unlike the industrially produced compounds, they do work in a complex way in multiple levels. So, as I have described, for example, that adrenal gland has other tasks and other responsibilities in addition to the cortisol production. Hence, through strengthening the gland and not modulating the cortisol only, they are also helping in reducing the possibly increased blood pressure, to helping to modulate the sex hormones production in this case, right? So since they are working in a complex way through multiple phytochemicals that they do contain, they help us also on multiple levels, and not only targeting the cortisol in this case, such as would be perhaps in many industrially produced compounds. Now, that would be one thing which we do need to keep in mind. That is the strength and the power of the plants and the natural herbs that I do appreciate most. Now, second thing is more is not better. The power of the nature is immense, and so that exactly would be valid for the herbs too. And so the amount need to be also wisely considered, and less is more in this case, definitely. And we need to keep in mind that the highly potent herbs, if given that they are in the great quality, in the pure compounds without any additives, can, if we overdo it in the dosing, they can harm us rather than to help us, and we will not achieve what we want to achieve. And so less is more, and the dosing need to be always starting on the lowest possible level. And if we are able to seize the benefits, which we in many cases are already in the lowest possible dosing, then we will be able to see the positive benefits of these herbs. Then we can either remain on this level, or slowly, very slowly build up to increase levels, right? Or to higher dosing rather. And so that is the second thing which we do need to keep in mind, right? So about similar herbs, either adaptogens or any other, about herbs that can help us to modulate cortisol, modulate estrogen, and the herbs and plants that do contain phytoestrogens, for example. What kind of herbs can help us to increase production of testosterone? What are the plants that then can help us in digestion of the sugars or carbohydrates, really, in terms of not experiencing way too increased blood sugar spikes after eating carbohydrates, All of these I'm talking about in my upcoming course on the hormone imbalance. I've been talking about this already for a couple of times, or few times in my previous videos, and this is the third point I'd like to mention, which is included in the course. And that would be the herbs and the plants and the herbal medicine can help us in case we really do need substantial help and our clients are depleted and our hormonal levels are all over the place. And that would be valid regardless where you stand in your life in terms of age, because estrogens levels are mostly connected to the menopausal women. However, the truth is that in contemporary Western society, even younger girls and young women are struggling with the estrogen levels. The same would be valid for testosterone. It's by far not the point of men above 50. By no means, unfortunately, even young men are struggling with testosterone levels. And so these plants and hormones can get out of whack, if you will, no matter where in the way of life or stage of life rather you are at right now. And so I'm talking about for each hormone that is included in the course, meaning cortisol, insulin, thyroid hormones, and all the sex hormones, all of these are being also provided with particular 2 or 3 herbs that can help us to stimulate or dim the function if we are not able to do that otherwise, right? Sometimes we do need help from plants, and sometimes we do need help from nature if any other means are failing. So the course will be available within the 10 days, and I will be announcing the exact date quite shortly, most probably in the early next week, that I'm just completing now and fine-tuning all the details. So if you'd like to know more, stay tuned. All the interesting things about the hormones, whether is it way of life, lifestyle, foods and recipes for the meal plan, and along with the herbs and herbal medicine will be included in the course. So it will be packed with all very practical and very applicable information and practices for day-to-day life. So stay tuned, and that's all for now, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.